beloved. We are gathered here today to get through this thing called life. In the day of the word, life brings forever. That's a mighty long time, but I'm here to tell you.
Gotta love that song. That's probably my favorite Prince song of all time. Anyways, welcome to the Go Spurs Go Memes podcast. I am your host, Ray. In studio with me today, Buddy, Frank, and Jack. Gentlemen, I hope you've had a wonderful week. Of course, I think all of us have been pretty saddened by all the deaths that happened this past week.
It's crazy,
It's
right?
kind of crazy.
Hey, by the way, so it does come in threes, right?
It did come in threes.
So who's the third? Okay, I was gonna ask.
Hold on. This is pretty sad. So it's Doris Roberts from Everybody Loves Raymond.
Okay, good.
Chyna the wrestler, and then the one, the only Prince, Mr. Purple King himself.
Does everybody know what his real name is, or is it
Prince Rogers
Nelson?
Nelson. That's exactly what it is. Prince Rogers Nelson.
Well.
No, we skipped that.
Oh, we did?
I love this, Jack.
Prince, dude.
I'm like a 12-pack in, one for me, one for Prince.
Oh, did
Jack,
you pour one out?
From here on out, Jack has to go drinking before we do this podcast.
Yes.
I actually, when we got together, Jack was already just like yelling crap out. That was just hilarious. And I told Frank, I was like, we need to get him in the studio right now.
Hurry up.
Before he starts to sober up, because this has just been nothing but
Shout out
amazing.
to Happy Hour.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Anyways, so I think, we should kind of talk about Prince. I think it was a shock to everybody. He was 57 years old, passed away yesterday. I think all of Facebook and most of social media was painted purple for Prince, and everybody was kind of, what I thought was really cool for Prince is a lot of people were posting up old tickets they had from the last time that they saw Prince. And so I know a lot on my Facebook feed, a lot of my friends had seen Prince when it was the 80s. So it was like 1987, 1988, which I thought was really, really cool. But yeah, you had a lot of that going on. You had a lot of people talking about how his music influenced them. They remember growing up listening to Prince on MTV. Everybody remembers the movie Purple Rain. So what do you guys think about Prince? How did you guys feel about that?
I was telling you guys earlier, so I was never a big fan of his music. I mean, it's not that it was the worst music ever. It's not that it was bad. It just wasn't my cup of tea, to be honest with you. But you can't deny the fact of what kind of influence he had on the music world. They had a famous quote a couple days ago where they were talking, yesterday when he died, they asked Eric Clapton like a long time ago, hey, what does it feel like to be the most famous guitarist in the world? And he says, I don't know, ask Prince. Yeah, I mean, that's an amazing quote.
That
tells you a lot.
Musician he was. I mean, you're talking about Prince. He's the most underrated musician on this planet right now,
right.
or no longer. But the thing about it is that
he's still on the planet.
Well, technically, yes.
Technically.
He's not going to be writing music anytime soon, unless he's no Selena.
Which I have a question about that.
Wow.
Continue.
So the thing about it is that he's so underrated that people don't even know his contribution to it. I mean, the guy was a fantastic guitar player. All you have to sit there and to have a really good illustration of how good he was, Super Bowl.
Right,
2007,
true.
I believe.
True. Right.
And pouring rain, and nothing was working right. It was raining all day, and he did the most phenomenal performance ever in the Super Bowl, and I think it's hard to beat.
And that's what I think is really funny is because he was also very eccentric as well. So there was a lot of recent Prince concerts where he would he didn't want people to see him, so he would sell out an arena and I remember this because this happened at the Great Western Forum in L.A. He sold it out. He did like a residency there for like a week and a half or 2 weeks, something crazy like that. Sold out the Great Western Forum. He didn't want people to see him, so when the lights went down, they literally went pitch black.
Oh my God!
And then you would just start hearing his music play. And supposedly he was out there on the stage, but a lot of people thought that all they were doing was basically just playing his music while you sat there at the arena.
Oh my!
Because you couldn't see him. It was so dark in there, and a lot of people were just getting up and leaving. But to me, that's Prince. Like that kind of craziness is exactly what Prince is. Like I always go back to that Kevin Smith. Was it a stand-up?
Night with
Kevin Smith, where he talked about being with Prince, and I guess one of Prince's handlers would say like you got to deal with his weird requests. And Kevin Smith
he's on
like,
Prince world.
Yes,
exactly.
When you have a name of Prince and then he changed it to a symbol and then back to Prince, you got to have
which was brilliant, mind you, because he was having that he was having issues with his label. He couldn't use his own name,
Right.
and the brilliance of it is that he created a symbol, and people still were using his name, formerly known as Prince. It's
Right.
brilliant in branding. And there's even that Dave Chappelle story.
I was going to say the
Yeah,
Dave
say
Chappelle
it, say
thing. The Dave Chappelle thing is the thing I think about a lot as well, where they're playing basketball
Okay,
against
now, pancakes, Charlie Murphy.
Charlie Murphy. Oh God, that's one of the things that's so sad that you bring it up for that. But I mean, it's pretty funny though. You have to say.
It really is.
Well, you heard about that. How Prince responded to that? It's a very, very funny story with Dave Chappelle. Was that here he is dressed as Prince. I'm talking about Dave Chappelle
Right,
dressed
right,
as
right,
Prince, and Prince used that image, of Dave Chappelle dressed as Prince holding pancakes to what was the title of it? It was a cover for a single too, like Better Than Breakfast or something like that. I forgot
Yeah,
what it was.
I don't remember.
But Chappelle was like, touche. It's like, what am I going to do?
Breakfast can wait.
Breakfast can wait.
Breakfast can wait. That's
And
what
he
it
said
was.
something like, what am I going to do? Sue him for me dressing up like that and taking a picture?
And he took it pretty well for that. I have to admit.
I mean, the man was fantastic. One of the most brilliant performers out there. In fact, the thing I loved about him is that if you were a guitar player, that's the person you really want to listen to. And like all legends, the minute a legend dies, everything stops. I'm not talking about the world and everything, but their contribution no longer exists, and they no longer contribute, and it's missed. I mean, it happened with Ray Charles. It happened with a lot of other musicians that happened before our time.
Right.
And he is the end of an era, honestly.
And he stayed relatively quiet in the last several
Right.
years.
And
but
so,
he's still
I find
influenced.
it pretty amazing of MTV to kind of just stop everything and start playing Prince videos. But what I thought was even funnier was that they started playing Fresh Prince of Bel-Air
Oh,
by
my
like accident, I think it
God,
was. But that was pretty damn funny.
I think it's just an intern who doesn't even know who Prince is.
So you're fired.
But here's the thing. I mean, this is actually kind of our generation's, type of music. I mean, we
Right.
grew up in that era of stuff. But if you were born late '90s, in 2000. You have no idea who he is, and you probably never even listened to it, but his
Right.
influence is there.
And so the more important death this week for you is probably the death of the wrestler Chyna.
Chyna, absolutely. What a blessing.
He cried for days.
I don't know how you want me to go about this stuff, but Chyna,
Well, we got to kind of bring it up. So a nice, easy segue from the amazingness that was Prince
That man
to
died
the
horribly.
to the hardcore train wreck that was China Doll, Joni Law, or however you want to call her. So I guess supposedly they found her. Friends of hers were looking for her. Didn't hear from her. Somebody went to the house, found her dead. There was no drugs anywhere, no nothing. And I kind of laughed
No
to myself
drugs
because I was like,
anywhere, right.
guess she probably took them all, and that's why there was nothing there. So she was really young. I think she was like what 45?
45.
45?
She was 45.
Yeah, so she was pretty young. So I'm very curious, though. I'm curious if the WWE will do anything for her on Monday Night Raw.
Pretty sure.
that's-
I wouldn't
that's
see why not,
very
right?
curious.
She didn't leave on bad terms with him, right?
She didn't leave in good terms.
why
I think
did
there was
she
a lot of
leave,
drama.
though? Yeah, I mean, I know when it comes to like a lot of female wrestlers that they do leave on bad terms because a lot of times they don't have the sex appeal anymore, and
Right.
they just kick them out. So it really is on bad terms.
Yeah, but
But with all of the going back to that era that WWE has done, why don't they include her?
Well,
there's got to be something.
yes, and
she
I
did go
think
into their Hall of Fame in 2015.
okay,
Oh, yes.
but I think
Okay.
And it's a brand, so they're gonna push
yeah.
their brand with
right,
it.
Yeah,
right.
they
And
will.
they own the name China, so that's why she kind of rebranded it as China Doll or used her
Right.
normal name because Vince McMahon owned China. But I want to say, if I'm not mistaken, and I could totally be wrong, and I'm sure there's some wrestling fan at home. Clay's not here today to correct us.
I know.
But I believe what happened was that she did have a relationship with Triple H, who right now is now married to Stephanie McMahon. And so I think there was kind of like that love triangle kind of thing, and I think the WWE just ousted China Doll.
How do you go from that to Stephanie McMahon?
I don't know.
That is weird.
Yeah, I don't know if it was a
ever seen
legit
Stephanie
relationship.
McMahon?
I don't.
Oh no! I forgot what I was
night
going to say.
and
Go
day.
ahead. Yeah.
Sorry, continue. You're going from a man to a woman. Basically.
Well, basically, yeah. So I
Continue, I'm
don't know
sorry.
if that was the thing or whatever, but nonetheless, it is really sad. My favorite memory of China will always be where she was on that reality show on VH1 with Mini-Me with Vern Troyer. And I loved it because when she first went into the house, she found a little room that had a little closet, a little bed, and she thought it was amazing.
That's
So she
great.
basically moved into Vern Troyer's room.
Oh my!
And you know,
God.
Vern Troyer's like basically handicapped. Really,
Yeah.
he can't move around. You know, he's so little. And she didn't want to move out of the room when they finally said like, "That's Vern's room."
Oh my God! Man, she must have been like.
Oh,
hammered
but
on-
she was like, I mean, there was so much drug use and just so much craziness there that, I mean, is that really shocking at all?
Nah.
Anyways, so I think that's enough for China Doll.
and
Oh, did you want to bring something up?
No, and then the third person.
Okay, the third person, Doris Roberts. Everybody loves Raymond. I just think of how many Emmys she won for that role. Because she was just hilarious. I mean, the whole cast was hilarious. But other than that, I don't really think I knew her for anything. Other
She was
than
in a Tyler Perry movie.
Oh well, come on.
No, she was hilarious.
You
in that
actually
movie.
watched one of those?
Yeah, unfortunately.
She was also in what do you call it?
Grandma's Boy. She was in that.
She was great.
That was
in
a great movie.
National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation. She was in that. Check it out.
Oh, you're
She's
right.
one of the relatives
yeah.
on there.
Right.
And I mean, her career has spanned decades. And
She's been around for
here's
a
the
long time.
thing:
Well, she was
that-
90 years old,
Well,
yeah.
that's what's surprising. Like when people said she died at 90, and people were like, "Oh yeah."
Well, I guess
mean, it was
so,
really
right?
something
Yeah,
else
no,
like
that's
that.
it. You're right. You're right.
Yeah, it's crazy. Absolutely crazy.
So I shed a tear for two of those people.
Okay, so let's see what else is going on this week. So today they dropped the brand new Independence Day Resurgence trailer. So I know I don't. Have you guys seen it? Did you guys see it yet?
No, I haven't seen it. I've
You
been
haven't seen
working all day.
Negative.
Negative. Okay, so buddy, if you want to pull that up, we'll
I'm
watch
ready
it
for you guys.
together, and then we can kind of talk about it as it's going. Yeah.
Okay.
So
You're gonna
Can you
have
flip
an
that around?
ad.
Yeah, we'll have to do the flip thing again. Hang
You
on
wanna do
here.
flip that around?
Oh, okay, we're gonna do that way.
How does your computer do that?
It's a
yoga.
Surface, right?
No, it's a yoga.
okay, do you want to come around, buddy, so you can see this?
Can you or just hit play on the YouTube thing if you don't mind?
Okay,
you
well,
hit-
Oh, never mind. Never mind. I got it.
Okay.
how about you hold it?
Okay, there's like a ton walking thing, and that looked pretty awesome.
I wonder if there's CG in this film.
I can't believe it's been 20 years.
It's been 20
Still gonna
years.
take your father to the anniversary.
We wouldn't be here if it wasn't for him.
Gotta love Skype.
Yeah, you do. Even in the future, people use it.
1996, the world escaped the clutches of extinction.
Your father was the bravest man I've ever seen.
Oh, Will Smith shout out. He's dead.
We all lost someone we loved.
Sure, it's not Randy Quaid.
Yeah.
But in their sacrifice, we found.
Is that Hillary? Did Hillary win the presidency?
Hillary already won.
Is that why she's talking right now?
This is the
Because
future.
our survival is only possible when we stand together.
Uh-oh.
20 years later,
Oh my God.
so it is a sequel. Oh.
Jeff Goldblum still looks like the same guy.
Ooh, did you hear that distress call?
They're not screaming. They're celebrating.
I thought that guy was dead.
I thought he was dead too. I thought they killed Data in the
Data
first
back? I
one.
was gonna say, who
Yeah.
bought Data back?
What goes up must come down.
Oh my God.
He's full of knowledge.
Yeah.
You know, I hate to be your builder in New York because, like, man, damn it, this is the second time this shit happened.
Is this a true story?
True story about 7 strangers
We've gotten reminded
Picked to live in a city.
not for the taking.
that's about to get blown up.
End of the world.
Is that it?
There's so much lasers and planes. See, I don't even know what the hell's going
And
on.
I would hope that they have lasers this time, for God's sake.
Yes.
This is going to be so terrible, and I'm going to enjoy it.
It's gonna be amazing.
We didn't last time either. We convinced an entire generation that this is a battle that we could win.
It was like 700 people.
Yep.
Sacrifice for each other, no matter what the cost.
You go first.
And that's worth fighting for.
Ooh.
July. So let's show them some fireworks.
Really? So they're going to
Really?
attack on the 4th of July again?
See, look, there's a ton walking
Yes.
brontosaurus thing.
With raptor claws.
Yeah.
I love
God, I
this.
cannot wait.
If only movies cost
June
6 months
1st.
again.
I love the way that it still has like those awesome lines in the movie, like "It's the 4th of July, let's give them fireworks." So really, the only thing I learned from that trailer is that Hillary wins the presidency, and then aliens are going to destroy us.
So it's a true story.
It's a true story.
That's probably why.
Yeah.
And aliens meaning brown people.
Wow.
Oh, hello, Donald Trump. How are you?
Yeah, I could say that. But he can't.
Oh, sorry.
Sorry. Anyways, I think we've been messing around enough. I think it's time for the news.
That was really nice,
What? That was a nice segue, right?
especially because you were all running around after the.
Buddy's on the
trailer.
ball.
I'm
Buddy's a
getting
really
better.
good engineer that we have. When we first started doing the show, he was really bad at it, but he's gotten a whole lot better.
I did it for comedic effect, you know.
'Cause I keep buying the equipment.
So let's see what's
Yes,
Anyway.
benefactor.
yes.
Moving on.
Frank is the producer and benefactor of the Go Spurs Go Memes podcast. Thank you very much, Frank.
Thank you, Frank.
We appreciate you. Well, maybe we should rename the studios like, when we do the intro, it should be the Frank the Producer Studios. I think that would be better.
We just have to remember that next week.
Next week.
We won't remember
We won't.
because
Neither
our
will anybody else.
ADHD will. Yeah. All right, so let's see what's happening in the world of the NBA. Warriors Kevin Looney underwent left hip arthroscopic surgery this morning to repair a torn
Wow, that was
labrum.
just awful the way you said
I
that.
completely tangled up my words, jerk. Anyways, so he's going to be out for a minimum of 4 to 6 months. Seth Curry with the Sacramento Kings has decided that he is going to opt out of his player option. No surprise there.
Imagine that.
You sure they're not opting out for him?
Let's see what else happened. Blazers guard CJ McCollum has won the NBA's most improved player. What I thought was really interesting about that is Kawhi was number 10 in voting.
The worst thing was that Curry was number 4.
Yeah.
I'm like, really? I was like, how do you improve from being the MVP?
I don't know. So earlier today, if I'm not mistaken, the Washington Wizards announced that they have hired Scott Brooks to be their head coach.
Yes.
And so now it's coming out that Kevin Durant will not be going to Washington this summer. So I think it brings up a very good point that if Kevin Durant wanted to play for Scott Brooks would still be the head coach of the Oklahoma City Thunder.
Yep.
True. So
Well, doesn't it also give a little bit more leverage to San Antonio?
You know,
In some respects?
I'm still
I
I
still
still
think
don't
I
see
still
it
think-
happening, man.
I
just
still
don't.
think that the Warriors are the team to beat for Kevin Durant. I really do.
I still don't think that either.
But remember what I said months ago is that with the whole Kevin Durant thing, I still think I could see him signing one more year, stay in Oklahoma City. Next year, him and Westbrook are up for brand new deals,
L.A.?
and then they could go anywhere. Yeah, and LA's a very, very good spot for them. Damn
LA.
Lakers.
God, that'd be crazy.
Let's see what else is going. So the Hornets' Nicholas Batum is expected to miss the remainder of the Miami-Charlotte series with his sprained left ankle.
Yeah, he hasn't been playing all that well. He's more of a detriment to there, which really stinks because I thought that series was going to be a lot more competitive. The first game they got hammered. They
Told you. I told you the Miami Heat. Told you.
Don't understand that.
Told you. And I said in 7 too, but I actually think that they
it's gonna
might
be
actually
five.
it's going to
Maybe
be like
5 or
5,
4.
yeah.
Yeah.
Let's see what else. So I said earlier about Scott Brooks, he's actually getting a 5-year, $35 million
$7 million a
deal.
year,
That's
dude.
crazy.
That's insane, man.
He's not that great of a coach. And
Yeah.
I don't think he's going to attract a lot of talent to Washington, but that's just me.
Yeah, I don't think so either.
Let's see what else.
Ooh, hack the
Okay,
Drummond.
so I kind of mentioned this a while ago about Jeff Van Gundy that the Rockets were looking at hiring him. So I think that's actually going to end up being a done deal.
Wow.
Really?
But he's actually waiting for the Rockets to be eliminated before he actually goes
Says
in
it.
and
But then what does that say? So then the Morey thing's not going to happen, then you're thinking.
that's the sad thing. Yeah,
Right?
I don't think the more things
Did
going to
you
happen.
see? Did you see that? Oh man, did you guys see that great tweet? That
Go ahead,
great
Frank.
tweet.
What were you gonna say?
That
Hold on.
No, go ahead.
We'll get to that.
No,
in a
it's
bit.
a question. It's like, what does he bring to the table?
Van
Really,
Gundy?
honestly, yeah.
He's worked with the Rockets
Yeah.
before.
Yeah,
That's about it.
And so, hey, I'm back.
He's not a bad defensive coach. He knows defense pretty well. He's not a great offensive coach. But I mean, he could bring discipline. He is a sort of a little dictator. He has short man syndrome.
That's
Yeah, he
assuming
does.
that Howard.
Both of them do. Jeff
And
and Stan Van
We're
Gundy.
watching him right now. in fact.
Yeah. What were you gonna say, Frank? Go ahead.
No, I said, I mean, in a team that has both Howard and West.
You won't have to worry about Howard.
But
anymore.
Howard's going to be gone.
He'll
So
have
all
to
he's
worry
going to
about
have is a defenseless
that leads to
Harden.
another question, but we'll get there later.
Okay. Let's see. Sacramento Kings are actually seeing if ex-Denver Nuggets head coach Brian Shaw may want to be their head coach, which again, I'm kind of like, why?
That guy sucked, man.
That's I just don't get it. I really don't get it. But whatever. So I do got to talk about this because I kind of said it was going to happen last week. At least I think I did.
You made me throw up in my mouth.
Tom Thibodeau
Oh, no.
is the head coach of the Minnesota Timberwolves.
Excellent pickup.
Which I think is amazing for them. I really think it's a great thing for Tibbs and for the Timberwolves.
And he's the president too, right?
Yeah, and I think he's getting like $5 million a year.
He got screwed over on that one because Brooks got 7.
Yeah, he got 7, but I want to say he's getting $5 million a year. If I can find a thing, I'll let you know. Let's see. Let's talk about another bad team. Let's talk about the New York Knicks.
Oh, God.
So supposedly for their head coaching position,
Exactly.
they're actually looking at two people only:
I'm sure they are.
David Blatt and Kurt Rambis. Thoughts?
Well, Blatt, Blatt gets a bad rap, dude. I feel bad for that guy. That guy,
He totally gets a bad
I don't
rap.
even think he was as bad as what they made it out to be.
No, that was just
So,
LeBron.
that
LeBron
was just
hated
the
him.
LeBron thing,
That was
you
just
know
a
what I
LeBron.
He
thing.
really didn't have a chance to. I mean, that was his first introduction. Hey, look, we got LeBron up there.
He was a fantastic coach overseas. He won multiple championships where he was at. There's no reason to think that he couldn't control them.
I don't
now,
think he's gotten a
Rambis-
chance at all. So now, I mean, this would be actually his first chance of actually coaching a real team.
But to be honest, though, who really cares what we think? What I want to know is what does Carmelo think?
Yeah, that's the other thing. And it could be the same situation, like where he basically outs him out.
And that's the
Yeah.
difference between the international game and the game here.
Very true.
Yeah, exactly.
Good
They have to
call,
deal with-
Jack.
they have to deal with personalities. You're right.
God, I wish I had a
And then
six-pack
Kurt
here to
Rambis-
just keep shoving one in Jack.
Kurt Rambis is crap, dude.
Because he's starting to get quiet.
I am. The buzz is going.
That's it. Somebody get him a Jack Daniels
Something. Get him some shots or something.
stat.
So the Lakers are still trying to decide whether they're going to keep Byron Scott or not, which we've said repeatedly.
They should get rid of him.
I think they're going to get rid of him, but maybe not. I don't know. Let's see what else. So, Spurs assistant GM Scott Layden also went ahead and joined Tom Thibodeau in Minnesota. So Layden is going to be Minnesota's new GM.
Oh, okay.
So yeah,
Congrats.
So I was wrong about Tom Thibodeau. It wasn't a $5 million a year deal. He actually got a 5-year deal, $10 million a year.
Oh, that's good.
So he got
Okay,
a really
then
good
he
deal.
got hooked
Yeah,
up
he
then. Okay, we're
got
okay.
hooked up.
We're all right then.
So he got a really good thing. And the Kings are actually going to talk to Luke Walton as well. They got permission from the Warriors to talk to him.
I don't understand that.
No.
Oh, I do.
Why?
Why?
They think they're going to make the Warriors there? Really? With Cousins? Cousins
So
can
how
smash
much? So
Luke
how much
Walton.
does the head coach matter with the Warriors then?
Oh my God, we're going to get into this, please.
No, get into it. Get into
Okay,
it.
Go ahead.
so-
Continue, Jack.
Does he matter that much? Not really. It's the same team that they had with Jackson. It's exactly the same team. The only thing is that Curry's healthy. That's the difference.
True.
That's it. So it doesn't really matter. But Walton's not going to do anything for the Kings. And this whole thought that Walton's going to do some kind of wonder for the Kings is stupid. I mean, it just really is. What did Walton do when he was coaching them? I mean, they did the same damn things that they're doing now. What exactly did he do? So what proves that he could be an assistant, a head coach with some other team when some of these guys we'll give a good example. Why not look at Ettore Messina, for instance? Ettore Messina, again, overseas, fantastic coach. Here, he's been an assistant for at least about 3 years now, okay? He takes over for Pop when Pop's out for the games. And he does a fantastic job. Why not look at that guy? Why in the hell are you looking at Luke Walton? Well, what has he proven to you? Jack is just staring at me like he has to kill me. You asked. That's what I'm telling you.
I just want to hear you, Rand.
Oh, okay, good.
That was amazing.
That was good radio.
Let's see what else. So sticking with the
If you
Kings,
can start sweating, that would even be better.
No.
Sacramento Kings forward Quincy Acey is going to opt out and become an unrestricted free agent this summer. Lakers forward Brandon Bass also will decline his player option and become a free agent. And I don't think there's really anything else interesting. So they did an MRI on Steph Curry's right ankle. Nothing of concern. He didn't play in the other last night.
2 or 3 he didn't play.
Yeah, he didn't play in 2 or 3.
But
And
he wants to play for 4, and he says he's going to play for 4.
Gee, I wonder why.
Yeah, I know they're a little bit
Because they
worried.
lost one game.
Yeah, exactly. They lost the game. Like, oh no, we can't have that. No, no.
Honestly, if
So-
I would just keep resting him.
so I have to admit, I was very surprised that the Houston Rockets actually pulled that game
I told
out.
you they were going to win 1.
You did. I'll give you that.
One.
You did. But my favorite thing of that whole thing was that when Harden actually hit the game-winning basket,
That
they
was
had the
pretty-
camera on the bench.
Oh, I know. It was awful, right?
It was like one guy was
they're like,
excited. Everyone else was like, damn,
Damn it, we're going to have to play another
Man,
game somewhere.
And y'all heard the NBA actually came back and said that shot should not have counted.
Yep.
Yep, because he should have
He
been
did
called
push
for a
off like
foul.
Rowdy on Iguodala.
Yeah.
That was
Oh, Jordan did the same thing.
I
Anyways.
know.
Give me a break. Come on.
Anyways, we're going to talk playoffs when we come back. You're listening to the Go Spurs Go Memes podcast. And we're back, and it's time to talk NBA playoffs. We are in full swing. We will talk about every single series that's going on right now, and we will end with your San Antonio Spurs versus the Memphis Grizzlies. Game 3 is tonight, 8:30, I think it is, guys. Okay, 8:30 tonight.
Something like that.
Something like that.
Yeah.
It's after this game.
That's actually about 7 minutes from now.
So here at the studios, we do have our big screen on. We are watching the Cavs and the Pistons
amazing, by
right
the
now. What's the score right now?
95-90 Cleveland, unfortunately.
A minute and 8 seconds.
Come on, Detroit.
Detroit can't get threes. That's the problem.
Basketball. Anyways.
And Jackson just turned it over. That's nice.
Okay, so let's start in the East.
Right.
The series that I really want to talk about is the Heat and the Hornets. Okay. So Miami is up 2-0 right now. Batum is out. Batum is out. Batum. I always want to say Batum. I don't know why I always want to say Batum. I know it's Batum, but I want to say Batum. So yeah, Miami's really been bringing it. Miami's been looking really good. But I'm curious, is it that Miami is actually playing well together and they're, peaking at the right time, or are the Hornets done?
There's a lot of factors that are going into it. One, the Heat are pretty good defensively. They're underrated defensively. They got a guy who could have been arguably the defensive player of the year in Whiteside, right?
Right.
So he's giving them all sorts of hell on the inside, right? But then they've got an injury issue. So the Hornets don't have Batum, which that's like
Batum.
What was the first one? The first one was funnier. They don't have Batum, which is a big part of their offense, right? I don't think Walker has been playing all that fantastically, and outside of Walker, you really don't have much,
right?
And so I think you can only do so much at that point. After that, you're just sort of like, well, crap.
So last week, all of you guys picked the Hornets to win in either 6 or 7 games. I was the only one that kind of felt that the the Heat would win in 7. I kind of want to revise that. I actually think that this could be done in like 5 games.
Yeah.
I think the Heat are going to take it pretty quickly. I don't know how you guys feel about that, but that's what I'm thinking.
Now looking at it, it's just I just think that they're overmatched. I don't think they're going to be able to deal with it. You're right. The Heat are peaking. They're all hitting on all cylinders. All of the people are scoring. They got Luol Deng all of a sudden performing now, which is
kind of crazy if you think about it.
In its own way, you know what I mean? But they can't stop what's going on with them right now, and the people that they need to be able to be playing better for them, like Batum. You need him,
right?
And he also provides defensive presence. You don't have him. I just don't see what they can do.
Yeah. Okay. Let's move on to the next series. So that was Hornets, Heat, Pistons, and Cavs are playing right now. I will let this game finish and then we'll kind of talk about it.
All right.
What are the other ones in the East? We got the Raptors, Pacers.
That one is just going about the way that we thought it was going to go. Raptors blew it on the first game.
Yep.
They come back and they win the last 2 games.
Right.
So the Raptors are doing what they're supposed to do and beat the
and
beat
the Pacers. But I really think the Pacers are better than that. I'm really surprised that it's not more competitive since game 1. I don't know. I just really expected more from the Pacers because of Paul George, but maybe not.
Well, Paul George is only one guy, though. And Paul George has played pretty well in all Jorge has played pretty well in the last games. You know what I mean? But he can only do so much, and you have somebody who's inconsistent like Ellis. Ellis is not the most consistent guy of all time,
right?
And then outside of that, who do you have? George Hill.
Yeah,
he's not.
Yeah,
consistent.
he's not consistent
you
at all.
Think about where your offense comes from. Where does it come from?
Very true. Okay, so it looks like Raptors are going to end up taking that series. Probably faster than we expected. So the next series is the Hawks and the Celtics. Talk about. I've just kind of been surprised with how well the Hawks started playing.
Yep.
they killed the Celtics tonight. What's the
Kyle Korver coming back?
Yeah. So Hawks lead 2-0 right now.
2-0, yeah.
2-0, but they're up 15. The Celtics are up 15 in this game right now.
And they're in Boston now,
They're
right?
in Boston,
true, yeah.
correct. So that helps.
That's
but
good.
I think that what's happening there too is that the Hawks just again hit the extra gas, and now they're playing on all cylinders. That's what they needed to do. They are an underrated defensive team. So, for instance, like in the second game, they set a record for most blocks in a playoff game.
Yeah, it was
ever.
like 15 or
15 or
yeah,
something. Man,
it's crazy.
dude, they were all over the place. It was
That's
crazy. So when you're at that defensive intensity, and then you're just like hitting on all cylinders when their passing is just phenomenal. Right outside of the Warriors, their passing is really impressive.
That's good. So correct me if I'm wrong. So Hawks Celtics are 4-5.
Hawks Celtics
Yes.
are 4-5.
Okay, so let's say the Hawks win this series, which they're being pretty convincing. The last game, Celtics are doing really well right now. But I'm trying to think of the next round, which means that they would play the winner of the Cavs Pistons, correct?
Correct.
Okay. So let's just say we're all pretty positive the Cavs are going to move on.
Unfortunately.
Yeah, it looks like they're going to win this game too.
So what's the more interesting series going into round 2? Cavs versus Hawks or Cavs versus Celtics?
Hawks.
You think
but
so?
But the thing is that they always have the Hawks number, though.
They do. That's what I'm like.
True. That's true.
And you would think you're right. You're right. I think that they would provide a problem with them, but for some reason the Cavs always know how to beat them, and I don't understand it. I
think it's just mentally. I mean, I think
guess
they're
so.
just there.
And maybe this could be the year. It's possible it could be the year that this is where they give them a whole bunch of trouble.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's just really hard to say. Like I said, everything that you look at with the Hawks would suggest to you that they could actually beat the Cavs, but I mean, for whatever reason, and then there's James just all happy. They're up 8 with 43 seconds. Great.
Here we go. Okay,
Great.
so Cavs Pistons looks like that's going to be over very, very soon.
That didn't take
so
long.
Cavs will go up 3-0. So that's probably going to end up being a sweep. Even though I probably could see Game 4, the Pistons really playing hard that game to try to survive. But eventually, the Cavs are just going to take them. The Cavs just have more talent.
Did you guys see Stan Van Gundy getting charged $25,000 for criticizing the refs?
Right.
God, that's a lot.
And then
of
he
money.
backtracked it too. He was like, "Oh, well, I didn't mean it."
Man, that guy is hilarious. That guy says some funny stuff, man.
Yeah, he does.
He said something in a press conference. He said, some guy asked him, so tell us about when you put LeBron into the game. Tell us about what the impact that had on the game. Oh, it was a great coaching move. I have to say that's like the best coaching move you could have ever done. Everybody's like, oh, what an asshole.
All right, let's go to the West. I think the shocker that we kind of talked about at the end of the last segment, Warriors, Rockets. Rockets pull out the win in Houston last night.
They didn't deserve it.
They didn't deserve it.
Absolutely not.
They were up by like 20 in that game, and they blew it.
So what I'm really interested to see is if the Rockets win Game 4, does it completely change that series?
No. I mean, they're not going to win the series.
What? I would say absolutely in terms of, they're not going to win it. But the thing is, what Curry's hurt already.
Well, I think it depends on if Curry plays.
Yeah.
If
I
Curry
say he doesn't
plays
play.
and they can still win,
Now, that's crazy.
No, that's crazy.
That changes the series.
I think that does, yes.
I don't think he plays Game 4, and I don't think it matters.
Yep.
Yeah.
But
yeah. Let's just assume they win, and he doesn't play Game 4. Then it doesn't show that they really got anything out of it, and he'll play Game 5 and hammer them. I mean, he just will. I mean,
I just don't see him winning another game. I mean, because if you look at it, it all depends on a lot of things. I mean, Howard just checks out. I mean, he's just sitting there like he's playing, pickup game.
Man, he has his bags packed. He's ready to go to Jamaica for the summer. He's ready.
And then Harding, it's amazing though. He does not play defense.
Harden's defense.
There's been so much transitional scoring in this game against the Rockets that it's just unfounded.
I can't understand how, it's easy for people like us, like laymen, to be able to get this clip coverage and get clips of every one of his bad defensive plays. I just do not understand how, if you're the Rockets coaching staff, you don't do even a better job of that and say, hey, look, I want you to sit here and watch this for 2 minutes, and it's all of those. That's all it is. It's just showing him like his Olay defense and stuff like that.
Right.
And how does he not react to that?
And it's because they let him do whatever he wants.
Yeah, they must.
That's exactly what they do. They let him do whatever he wants. They don't want to upset him because they don't want him to leave Houston, and so he's able to get away with it. So it doesn't matter what the coach says. Doesn't matter if he's screaming in his ear saying you need to do some sort of defense. Because Harden just gives up. I mean, he's like,
he's like a Randy Moss of the NBA. It's just he's not going to play all game. The same with Howard. But Howard, forget it. I mean, the league isn't built for him anymore. But it's just amazing to see it because you'll see people will just drive up in an open lane, and there's no one taking that space. I mean, just put a body in there so they run around you. He doesn't even do that.
It's outrageous. It's like he doesn't even turn his head sometimes.
No. And everybody knows. And I think that's a big thing, too, is that everybody knows how bad his defense is.
And his help defense is just atrocious. He doesn't switch on screens at all.
At all. No. He just don't care. Give me the ball. Let me shoot.
Yeah, go ahead. I'm sorry,
okay, so let's continue with the West. So we did Warriors Rockets. Now we're going to talk Thunder Mavericks.
Wow, well, that one.
So
That one took a turn for the worse.
No
dude.
kidding. No kidding. I couldn't believe that the Mavs were able to beat them in Oklahoma City, but then the Thunder came down to Dallas and beat the Mavs there.
Oh, because I think that's what should have happened in the first place. I think the second game, they just took him for granted. They played real lackadaisical, and they got into this thing where they just let Westbrook and Durant do everything. They get into this isolation problem,
Right.
and they're not shooting well. And when they're not shooting well, and then they get into this isolation thing, well, what the hell?
What are
Where's
they
your
gonna do?
offense coming from? And mind you, they only won that game by 1 point, mind you.
Right.
So, I mean, even at that.
A win to win.
A win's a win.
No,
That's
but I'm
very
just
true.
saying, like, it took both Durant and Westbrook
Right.
to have bad games in order for them to win by 1 point.
Right.
So it's, I think we got pretty much what we expected.
Yeah,
in the third.
exactly. And I'm pretty sure the Thunder will probably win the next two.
There were some
and just
dirty
be done.
plays in that game. Did anybody watch that?
Always
game?
is though. I mean,
Man, there
They're
was
playing hard. I mean,
Yeah.
I have to admit, both teams, but it's just the Thunder are just playing way
Durant
better.
shivved Nowitzki ugly in one of the screens.
and Nowitzki is the only one that's actually doing something for the Mavs. I mean,
Yeah.
he's really the only one. If Carlisle
He's just-
had multiple Nowitzkis, they'd be fine. But no one else is doing anything.
Yeah, Barea was their
Right,
weapon, and he's been hurt, so he's not doing that well. And outside of that, I don't know who. Wesley Matthews, that guy's trash.
He really is, and they give him a big contract too to bring him. It's crazy.
I know, it's crazy.
Stupid Cuban. Okay, so what else we have in
Clippers,
the West?
Blazers.
Clippers, Blazers. I was like, why am I not thinking of the next one? Because nobody really cares. Clippers are
one's
really
sad.
just.
Oh, wait, you were saying in this one that we were going. Oh, you're expecting maybe the Blazers to hold out.
I was.
They haven't even shown
done
anything. in 2
anything. I
games.
know.
They got blown out 20 points each game.
I know.
What the
I
hell?
can't believe it, and I'm curious to see if once they get to Portland, if the series is going to change at all. But right now, the Clippers are just doing whatever the hell they want with the Blazers.
Jack, you'll probably have to look this up, but I don't think the Blazers are a great road team, anyways. Though I think the Blazers are a really bad.
I
road
wouldn't be
team.
surprised with that. at
So
all.
that might be play a part of it as well. But I mean, come on, you're losing by 20 points each game. You're not that bad. I mean,
Right.
you know, I think they'll win one of them, but I still say it's going to only go 5 and then they're done.
I'm just looking forward to the Clippers taking on
Yes.
Golden State because
Yes.
they are going to beat
Yes.
them up.
Clippers are actually 24-17 on the road.
No, Blazers.
My bad. 16 and 25.
16 and what?
16 and 25.
Yeah, you see, they're
Yeah,
not that
see,
great.
they're not that good on the road. So maybe it does change once they get to Portland. Be interesting to see. Okay, so let's get to the one that everybody cares about: your San Antonio Spurs and the Memphis Grizzlies.
I don't want look like
Wake
I hate
me
cursing.
up
I hate
when-
cursing ourselves though because we're
Wake
like
me up when round 2 begins.
because they had
So
the
when
biggest
Kawhi
point.
Leonard busts an ACL, it's going to be your fault.
Oh, don't say that. They had the biggest point differential ever in a playoff series right now at this
Right.
point at 29 points, which is crazy.
Because the Memphis Grizzlies are not a playoff team. No.
I know. Okay, go ahead.
ahead,
Jack,
Jack.
I've been
Go
dying to
ahead.
hear this.
Okay.
Go ahead.
So, and yes, I understand injuries happen. And yes, Memphis.
Injuries. This team's decimated.
And yes, and yeah, Memphis has definitely had. The only thing that the Spurs can take from this series is their 4 closer wins to a championship.
You don't
Last
think-
17 games of the year.
You don't think they learned anything from the series at all?
No.
Let Jack talk.
Last
He's
17
on a
games of the
roll.
year. Memphis goes 3-14.
Ooh.
3-14.
Yeah, it's pretty bad.
Houston, who's actually the 8 seed, they went 8-9 in that last 17 game stretch. There's only 3 other teams that did either equal or worse than Memphis. The Lakers and Brooklyn had the same record. Philly only won 1 game in their last 17.
That's expected.
Like, the Spurs could sweep any of those teams. There's nothing to gain from this series. All you do is you pray you get the 4 games. You go and have a week off while you're waiting on the second game of the series, and hope no one gets hurt.
Okay, and so just to add in, and then you can go off your whatever you want
it's
to
not
say,
a
buddy.
rant. It's not a rant.
But to just kind of add to what Jack is talking about, this is exactly why I said last week, and I will continue to say it, that if the Spurs do not sweep the Memphis Grizzlies, the Spurs are not going to the 2016 NBA Finals.
I don't think they do anyway, but fair enough.
Yeah, it's
But
fair
do you
dues.
think?
It's
But
fair dues.
you agree with this, right? This view. Like if they lose tonight, I'm gonna be like, really? Come on.
What do you think, Jack?
But I don't think that's determinant of what they do versus Golden State.
Golden State lost
No,
to the Rockets.
See, it's very
Oh, but
true.
they don't have Curry.
Right.
We have everybody.
We have everybody, and by the time we play Golden State, they will probably have everybody. And if they do have everyone, I still don't think we beat Golden State in the 7-game series.
Well,
I've been saying that since January. Every game that we've seen Spurs Warriors, I have not seen a single thing that makes me change that.
Very true. That's what we've been saying for a while now.
But concerning this series here, with as battered as Memphis is, and with how good our Spurs are or supposed to be, there is no reason why we should not be able to hold home court, which we did, and there is no reason why we can't go into the FedEx Center and take 2 wins against Memphis.
Very true. I agree.
Can we struggle against them? Sure.
Yeah,
why not?
You lose by 10 maybe.
But,
you win by 10.
But at the end of the day, the Spurs have to win that. They have to sweep.
Yep.
You know, and once we get to the next round, I won't make that prediction. I will not be saying that the Spurs will be sweeping the Thunder. But I will say, again, if the Spurs do not sweep Memphis, we are not going to the NBA Finals.
So we've been seeing like a big old point differential here, right? So let me ask a question here. Do you see any bad things so far from this series? Have you seen anything that's
Turnovers.
Honestly, I haven't watched the games.
Oh, wow. Well, let's not ask Jack. All right.
Jack's busy drinking.
What about Ray?
Not been watching like NASCAR and stuff.
Wow.
Imagine that.
To the left.
During the week?
To the left. Let's see. I haven't really seen anything that I'm like, whatever. I think Frank's right about turnovers. That's kind of been a thing. But really, other than that, I haven't really seen anything. But they're playing against a D-League team right now. You know,
you got to see it as almost like a preseason game.
Exactly.
I think they're really testing out different looks for other teams in the future.
Yep.
But if you take it too far, you may find yourself struggling. However, we're talking about the Grizzlies here. It really is nothing much to lose here. I mean, even if you struggle, you're still going to come out ahead. I just don't see them losing these games.
I don't like I'm really bothered by the offensive flow. Like the flow is
I could see that. I could totally see that.
It's not there yet, and it's killing me.
And the thing is, right now it doesn't matter because we can still beat the hell out of the Grizzlies, even though our offense isn't smooth right now.
Yeah, look what happens when the second team comes in.
Yep.
I mean, they're just beating them down, and it really, like I said, there's no, like we've been saying, and we're going to say it again, there's no reason why they shouldn't lose any of these games.
There's no reason. Mm-hmm. Anyways, that's NBA playoffs, and you're listening to the Go Spurs Go Memes podcast. We'll be back.
Hey guys, Clay here with the Go Spurs Go Memes podcast. I'm your correspondent in the street, and of course it is playoff time. The Spurs are going one-on-one with the Memphis Grizzlies. And listen, we've got a few games in the book already. The Spurs are obviously going to sweep them up. Or if I were Razor Ramon, WWE legend, they're going to carve them up, man. I'm just kidding. I'm a terrible Cuban. Anyway, the Memphis Grizzlies are going to fall to the Spurs. It's inevitable. They're going to be the next throw rug on the Spurs' living room floor. But, the Grizzlies, they have potential. So I have found here, moving around San Antonio, I have found a person who's not necessarily an NBA fan. She's not even a Spurs fan per se. I'm at one of the great zoological facilities here in San Antonio as we speak. But she does know her Bears. She does know Grizzlies. So I'm going to ask her, what's less likely? What's less likely? All right, so here's our less likely question. Your name is?
Leah.
That's what they tell you. All right, Leah. I'm going to ask you what's less likely. And you're just going to tell me of the two things what you think is the less likely. Okay. Number one. What's less likely? A grizzly bear can run 35 miles an hour. Or, what's less likely? Or the Memphis Grizzlies shot 50% from the three-point line.
I'll go with the Memphis Grizzlies.
Yeah, no, there's no way they can shoot 50% from the. They couldn't even. They shot 14% from the three-point line. Okay, that's great. You're right on number one. Number two, what's less likely? The Memphis Grizzlies had 44 rebounds, 16 offensive rebounds in Game 2 against the Spurs, or a grizzly bear can consume 6 men in one sitting.
I'll go with the Memphis Grizzlies again.
Actually, it's the grizzly bear. You can't consume 6. I think 5 is the grizzly bear limit. I'm not sure. I don't know if that's been tested.
For little people.
Like little midget nuggets.
Something like that.
Oh yeah. Well then, Yes, then I'll have to rephrase my question to regulation men.
Then I guess I'll have to say that the grizzly bear won't be able to consume.
No, you're right. Now, 6 wee men? Yes. Not women. Wee men. Yeah, okay. All right, what's less likely? The Memphis Grizzlies got 10 blocks in Game 2 against the Spurs, or that a grizzly bear uses a butt plug.
It's less likely to have the blocks.
You're right, they only got 2 blocks. But you know what's true about, you know bear butt plugs? You ever heard about a butt plug? You know what a butt plug is?
That I do.
Do you own said butt plug?
No.
You know anyone who does?
I'd take the 5th.
5 of them, huh? That's impressive. No, the bear butt plug is different from what you're thinking. See, bears will get a bunch of hair and bone and snot, and they'll lick it all up, and it'll actually form a cap over their anus, also known as a butt, so that when they hibernate, they don't mess up their den. Did you know that?
I do now.
Yeah, you do now. Have you ever tried that?
No.
I wouldn't. It's not sanitary. Okay, what's less likely? The Memphis Grizzlies had 28 points in the paint, or that a grizzly bear dunks his claws into the river for salmon to wear down his claws.
I think they wear down their claws in the river, so I'll go with the Memphis Grizzlies.
Yeah, but the salmon aren't doing it. They're not trimming them.
They're doing it on the rocks.
It's true, but I didn't say the rocks. I didn't say Dwayne Johnson was in the river, did I? Just kidding. You're right. You're wrong, but you're right. They do wear it down getting... I'm just not helping you with these questions. All right, and finally, what's less likely? What is absolutely less likely? That the Memphis Grizzlies are going to win the series against the San Antonio Spurs, or that grizzly bears are brown.
Well, I know grizzly bears are brown, so I'm going to go with the Memphis Grizzlies.
You hear that, Memphis? You got no freaking chance in hell. You hear that? You stupid Memphis Grizzlies. What's Memphis got anyway? Going for them. What's good about Memphis?
I've never been there.
No one has. It's not even a real place. They say Hollywood made it up just to give this team a chance. Actually, they had Elvis, right?
Did they?
I don't know. A toilet had Elvis at the end. Speaking of that, my heart goes out to all the fans of Prince and WWE superstar Chyna. I just made fun of Elvis dying, so that's not cool, but that happens. Leah, thanks so much. I know you're not a Spurs fan. I think you said you were a London Silly Nannies fan. Is that true?
That sounds about right.
Anyway, why don't you give everyone a good Go Spurs Go and wish them the best of luck in the playoffs. You don't have to say the best of luck thing, just the Go Spurs Go thing.
Go Spurs Go.
That's right, guys. This is your correspondent signing off. Sending it back to the guys in the studio. By the way, Leah, have you ever heard of the Go Spurs Go memes podcast?
No.
Do you know who Ray, Jack, Frank, Sean, any of those guys are?
No.
Yep, you about 99% of the rest of San Antonio. Okay, we need a new marketing director. Anyway, guys, for the Go Spurs Go memes podcast, I'm your correspondent on the street with Spurs in the City. This is Clay signing off. Go check out a playoff game as a Spurs sweep, and go Spurs, go!
And that music means it's time for us to review a movie again. Whoop, whoop. So this week we're going to be talking The Jungle Book. Young Buddy did get to see that. Was it today?
I'm not young, unfortunately, but that was today, yes.
Okay, Buddy. Tell us about The Jungle Book.
Okay, so The Jungle Book was directed by Jon Favreau, the guy who did Iron Man.
And Iron Man 2, crap movie.
2. I know you hate those movies. But
you know what? I
like the first Iron Man.
The first one I love it.
The first one was great.
That's my
Second
favorite
was
Marvel
crap.
film. Yeah. Anyway, moving on.
Winter Soldier.
Okay, so moving forward, so
Jungle Book,
and he was in the movie too.
He was in a Jungle Book.
Yeah, he was a voice. He was voice of one of the.
Was he Baloo?
He was voice of one of the pigs.
Was he King Louie?
No. Okay, so I have to say I was very, very impressed with it. It actually, now I know I never actually saw the Disney Jungle Book. I know the story of it, but I never really saw it. Right. So what was interesting was that it actually let you believe that the animals actually were real people. Like, the animals had such a good dynamic in facial expressions, their actions and everything, that made you believe that they were actually there. It was crazy. And that kid, he was amazing with making you believe that he was all up for that stuff. I mean, it was so well done. Like, if you couldn't ask for anything better out of a movie like that. Granted, it is what it is. It's a remake. I get it, right? But they did such a fantastic job with the overall like interactions, everything. And I have to say, the voice acting was excellent. The one that they picked for Baloo, even though I thought Bill Murray was not going to be all that great as it, he actually did a pretty good job. I didn't like the King Louis guy, the Christopher Walken thing, because he was trying too hard to have that stupid New York accent, and I just hate that. I hate that. I like the guy that they got for Bagheera, the Ben Kingsley. He's excellent, spot on. And then, of course, Idris Elba. I love Idris Elba, and he was
Shere Khan,
and he was fantastic. And then Frank's favorite was in it too. Scarlett Johansson was Ka. So, yeah,
Kaka.
So I actually liked it a lot. It had a lot of good ratings too. The reviews came up real good on it as well. It made the most money out of any.
It did make the most money. That's crazy, and it's been nothing but raving reviews about it and stuff. So I was kind of really shocked about how much it's being praised and everything.
So Frank does not have a good opinion of this.
No, I can't say anything because I haven't seen it though. My whole issue is about, hey, remember that story that we said that we've told? Well, here it is again, and we're seeing this all the time. I mean, they're gonna redo Ghost in the Shell. They're gonna, in fact, they're even gonna. Who else is doing this movie?
WB is doing it. Warner Brothers is doing it, and they're doing it with Andy Serkis.
Yeah.
So I think what basically happened was the Andy Serkis Jungle Book was supposed to actually come out sooner. But when Warner Brothers heard that this film by Disney was making lots of great comments and reviews were really good, they decided to push back the Andy Serkis one. So now I don't think the Andy Serkis one is happening until next year, which I think is just a stupid.
It sounds like a money waster.
It really is, because it's like, why would you even? Yeah, it's gonna.
It basically.
People are going to compare it to this one. I mean, that's what's going to happen.
Deep Impact Armageddon all over again. It's the same movie.
Good call. Good call, Frank.
It's just, and this is what I don't like, and this is kind of a pattern that you're seeing with Hollywood. And yes, these movies may be entertaining and everything, but like you said, I mean, people are talking about, wow, that CG is awesome. Wow, it really made it look like the voices were coming out of these characters. Well, if you're an animator, that's your job. But moreover, it's like, we saw this before. It was called Disney's Jungle Book. It was a book and everything. I can understand going from a book to a movie and taking your interpretation
and I guess that's
in
why
that medium. But it's like, here we have, and I think there was another one, Jungle Book live action that was done before this one.
Really?
And I think so.
Jungle Book Part 2?
Yeah, exactly.
Well, and I understand from your perspective. You're an artist yourself, right? So I understand why.
Now everybody knows.
Now everybody knows what he does.
I mean, an artist in general.
I used to be an animator.
Well, I mean, you know what you're looking
Master
for when it comes
animator.
to this. But when you took a look at somebody like me, who knows absolutely jack, I can't draw a stick figure, okay?
Wait,
and I'm looking at this. No, I'm sorry. Not
okay.
The other stick figure.
I don't know anything. You look at it and you're just like amazed. That scene where he's like on Baloo's stomach and he's singing Bare Necessities with him, and he's singing back with him. And the bear's singing back with him, and he's looking at him, and he's having this interaction with the kid. And you're like, sweet Jesus, how in the heck did you fake that? Like, it just looks like the damn bear is real. Like, it's talking to you.
And
like,
I get that. I get that. That's their job. And don't get me wrong, I'm going to be mesmerized by how this looks. I mean,
and I guess that's what I was impressed with.
They're very good at it. Any good animator has what we call, they create the illusion of life. And that's the purpose of an animator, is you create something from nothing, but you give more into the performance of just a mere voice by creating that illusion of life, expression, and just overall soul to these characters. And when they do that, it's fantastic. And I don't deny that they do that very, very well. I mean, that's the whole reason why Disney is in the business.
Right.
However, my issue is, again, this is a story that's been done before. It's going to be done again, and it's been told so many times that at what point do you sit there and say, you know what? It's just window dressing at that point, is it not?
Would you say that telling the story is a bare necessity?
Oh, God.
So bad.
They did that.
I just had
They
to do
did that
it.
other song too, and that what was the one? I Want to Be Like You. He did. They had Christopher Walken singing that.
Oh, yeah,
my
yeah.
god!
So they
it
do
was
the
awful.
songs?
Oh, they do the song and the dancing.
They only did Bare Necessities and
Of course they
Want to
did.
Be Like You. That's the only ones they did.
yeah.
But dude, Christopher Walken doing that song was just awful.
Well, yeah.
Although the jazz band was really good. They had a really good jazz band for that.
It was an all Japanese cast.
It was pretty crazy. Let me
Which
tell
are
you.
really good.
They
Okay,
had a
buddy,
they had a preview in this, by the way. I was going to tell you about this.
what?
Unless you want to go about something else. They had a preview for Alice Through the Looking Glass.
Ugh.
Oh my god! I was thinking to myself
Again, Alice in Wonderland, we've done that.
No, well, Alice in Wonderland, yeah, but
we never
through the
done
Looking Glass.
through the Looking Glass.
Nobody's
Oh, yeah,
done it.
okay, I get
And I was
that,
like
but
looking at this, I was
still
like, okay,
franchise.
let's just make this as weird as possible.
But wasn't the Alice in Wonderland that Tim Burton redid for Disney, the recent one that was with Johnny Depp?
Right.
Wasn't that story through the Looking Glass?
I thought it was, yeah, I think so. I think
So they just made a new story and calling that one
no,
Through the
absolutely,
Looking
no
Glass?
clue. I'll have to look it up. But I mean, honestly, I was looking at the preview and I was like, my God, they're just like, let's just throw every weird thing that we can possibly.
Well,
throw
yeah,
into
it's
here.
Tim Burton.
And then let's just see. If
So
it
Helen Bonham Carter,
Yes.
and
It's
Johnny
Hot
Depp.
Topic, the movie.
Right, exactly. Yes.
and she's actually the villain in again. I'm like, she was dead in the last one. How is that possible?
Wait,
She didn't die.
I was.
She got strapped to that
remember.
guy, and then the guy was gonna exile
So
her.
he's not
and-
dead. So there you go.
Well, she should have died.
I don't know. It'll look cool. The art,
Surprised their
the art
careers haven't
direction,
died yet.
the art direction, the costume is going to look fantastic. But when I go to a movie, there are certain movies that I can accept. And like, for example, Independence Day, I'm not expecting that to be Oscar worthy
gonna
and
be
everything.
amazing.
But I'm going to
But
sit
stuff
there and it's like,
blows up.
look,
Stuff's gonna
exactly.
blow up.
But it's
my
gonna be
God, New York
amazing.
got screwed up again.
So you know exactly what type of movie you're going into, and that's what I come into. And now with these, beyond the Looking Glass and anything Tim Burton does, you got to be a fan. But for some reason, people just ignore how good the movie is, and I don't know. I just don't. I don't like that anymore.
Yeah, there's nothing original. That's. I mean, that's really the whole thing. All right, buddy. So, what is your rating on the Jungle Book?
If I had to give it out of jalapenos, I want to do jalapenos. It's cheesy.
Why don't you do monkeys?
No, it was either
What are we doing?
It's right. It was.
spend your money or
Yeah, it's either see
wait
it or wait.
Yeah.
See it.
See
I think
it.
you got. I saw it in 3D IMAX, and it was a
Why would you
great
show
experience.
that?
It was a great.
Ritzy.
It was a great experience in 3D IMAX.
The floors aren't
$17,
sticky.
It worked pretty well. Oh God, that's awful. Wow. I thought it was a good experience in that. I don't like a lot of movies in 3D, but it worked it for that movie pretty well.
Oh, that's nice.
Very good. All right, thanks, buddy, for that review, and we will be back in a bit.
Go Spurs Go Memes presents Storytime with John.
So I was living with my parents at the time. I was probably in my early 20s. And my dad had this BB parrot, and he loved that BB parrot more than he did his own kids. I mean, those kids, they were inseparable. He always had them on his shoulder. He could go outside with them. The bird would never leave him. I mean, they had a relationship. It was fantastic. So anyway, one day my parents were going to the commissary to pick up some food, and my buddy across the street, he's not home, so his hippie friend with this real long hair and this German Shepherd decided to come over and visit. So we get high in the living room. We get high as shit. And all of a sudden, that BB parrot, he's up on a shelf, and he flies, and halfway through, the German Shepherd grabs him in his mouth and gave him a heart attack, and the poor little fucker died. It was just a shame. And man, I'm freaking out. And all of a sudden, he's messing with my buzz really bad because, man, all of a sudden, I got to start fucking thinking. And so anyway, I tell the guy, man, you got to go. Man, he's like, well, I'm sorry, man. I didn't mean to hurt your bird, man. I said, no, you got to go. And I'm fucking, what am I do? What do I do? So I put the bird back in the cage dead. I closed it up, and I got the hell out of there for about 5 or 6 hours. And gave my dad time enough to go over there and see the bird dead. So anyway, my dad's crying. He goes, what happened to this bird? I don't know. I'm playing dumb. I don't know anything about it. Probably about 20 years later, he finally said, John, I know you know something about that bird. And I finally fessed up about it. And he goes, I knew you had something to do with that damn bird dying. And but anyway, it scared the hell out of me. And from then on, I don't have any birds in the living room while I'm getting stoned.
And that was Storytime with John at Go Spurs Go Memes.
And the three-ring
Afro.
circus is now open for business. It is time. I do want to start singing Afro Circus, Afro Circus, polka dot, da 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 da.
Afro.
Can we replace this song with the Afro Circus song?
Yes, you know what? I'm going to do that
Please?
next time for you guys.
No, do it right now.
No, not this
Look it up
episode.
right now.
I can look it up right now.
Circus, Afro circus, Afro circus, Afro polka dot, Afro.
That was so worth it.
Oh, that was perfect.
That was so worth it. So we're doing that
Sorry
from
that
now
took
on.
so long.
Afro Circus, please. So anyways, crazy story of the week. Buddy, what do you want to start with?
All right, first story is he doesn't give a damn as an edamame. Chinese obsessed tyrant Kim Jong-un. Oh, cheese. Chinese obsessed. I was like, that's not even- I was like, he doesn't even go to China. Cheese obsessed tyrant Kim Jong-un holds Master Chef style cooking competition while millions of North Koreans starve. So,
It's really sad and kind of messed up.
I can't believe we're actually laughing at this. So, cheese chomping despot Kim Jong-un held a Master Chef style competition to find North Korea's top cooks as millions across the nation starve. The eminential obsessed dictator gave the show, which was broadcast on state TV, the green light despite an estimated 2/3 of the country's 27 million people surviving only on food rations. Right.
Yep.
So, some of the things that were cooked in all of this: broccoli's 5-way,
Boiled, poached, fried,
boiled grass,
under the sun,
pizza and spaghetti, and a 5-pheasant dish.
Where'd they get pheasants?
That's what I
wanna
wanna know.
sparrow, barn swallows.
Man, and some of these pictures here, it's just like it shows him like in a thing, and he looks like he wants to eat like in a.
Those photos look doctored.
He's probably the only one that eats.
Yeah, well, he obviously eats. Apparently, he's been like being treated for gout. Ugh. Man, that's just
because he has so much.
Oh,
meat
you
to
North
eat.
Korean
You
leader.
silly North Koreans.
That is probably so. Defectors from the communist country believes he is fattening himself up to look like his grandfather, eternal President Kim Il Sung, who is still the reclusive country's head of state despite being dead. For since '94.
Which is really funny because they have statues of the great grandpa up everywhere, and then the statues of his dad, Kim Jong Il, up everywhere as well. So I'm assuming that when Kim Jong Un dies, they'll have the statues of all three of them up, I guess.
You know, you have to admit, and Frank, I'll defer to you on this one, right? How is it that a people can keep somebody like that dude in power still?
Well, the whole thing is you control the education, you control what's feeding the masses, and that's it. I mean, you rule with an iron fist. Like anyone who opposes him is dead. In fact, when he even got power, he was killing off lots of his daddy's, henchmen, if you want to say it.
Yeah.
But really, that's what it is. There's state media, state press. Everything is just owned by the state. All that information is controlled. Once you raise up a country like you're a god, no one's going to go against you.
Nope. And I mean, people cry for him. Like when he was just sick. All the people were crying.
Well, what we were seeing,
right? Exactly.
But I mean, it starts from early on. I mean, imagine your education system right now that were to say, worshiping him and saying Kim is our god, and you're just indoctrinated into believing that. And that's
imagine that indoctrination. That would never happen here. Not in the U.S.
You know
of A.
what's funny is that
Trump.
Think of wow. Of course, Jack would say that.
He speaks his mind.
So one of the things that's funny about
7-Eleven.
that is that, the funny thing about that is that this is what Russia, something like the Soviet Union, could have been if they had kept people like us out.
Well, they were that way.
But then they let us in and with glasnost and all the other stuff, and then we really screwed.
Well, I mean, then you're going to
Cocaine's
take
a hell of a drug.
They got the smell.
Anyway.
They got the smell of freedom, and they're like, this really sucks.
Let me tell you one thing. It's because the Soviet Union no longer exists. I mean, that's the reason why you're seeing all this.
That's all I heard.
Yes. Anyway, so Kim Jong-il.
Kim Jong-un, fat ass. Okay.
Yeah, fat ass. Okay, next story.
Next story
Next.
is okay. So the second story of the day, and you guys are gonna love this. So Tila Tequila.
Haven't heard that name in a while.
Oh God! Wishes Hitler a happy birthday on Twitter.
Oh, good.
Oh God! So the story goes: we can't tell if this is a publicity stunt or not, or if she's just lost her marbles one way or the other.
I say both.
But
Doesn't matter.
She took to Twitter the other day and wished a high-ranking German official a happy birthday. It's not the one that you would think. So on this thing, she has a picture of Adolf Hitler.
Wow.
And it
No
says,
kidding.
on this great day, 420, I will honor our true king. They tried to destroy your... Check this out. They tried to destroy your legacy, but I will fight for you.
Wow.
And then she went on. She put another picture of him along with his, I guess, wife. Oh, no, I think she photoshopped herself into this picture. Whoa, that is weird. And she put, happy birthday, Mein Führer, the most high, 420, hashtag soulmates, hashtag past life, hashtag united, hashtag Heil Hitler.
Wow.
That
That's
is a
some
publicity stunt, I have to
hell
say.
of a drug right there that she's on.
Oh, my.
Yeah, dude, and they don't know for a fact or not if she's like lost her collective mind, right? So,
Oh, she has.
So
Oh,
she
yeah,
even
duh.
reached out. Check this out. So even the same day, right? She reached out in the same day to Houston police via Twitter to be placed into witness protection because she said, "quote I need to be put under witness protection program. Crazy zombies are trying to kill me."
Oh, that's
Okay,
good.
how about we describe who Tila Tequila is?
Yes, Jack. Can you tell us who Tila Tequila is?
So, she actually immigrated here from Vietnam.
Oh, good.
That's fantastic.
Although she was born
Why is that
in
good?
Singapore.
I don't know.
I don't know. She gets her name, Tila Tequila, from her friends. Evidently, she is allergic to alcohol. I don't know why you...
I'm not quite sure I buy that.
I don't know.
She's allergic like
She's
you're
not allergic to
So-
clonazepam.
Did she write her own? Did she write her own Wikipedia profile?
Probably so. There's a lot of... I don't know.
misspellings and a lot of
Right. She grew up in Alief, Hastings High School.
Oh.
Shout out to Houston. Was
H-Town.
first discovered in Playboy and was in Playboy in 2002.
No.
Then was on VH1, Surviving Nugent, the show about Ted Nugent.
So that's how she basically came to fame,
Right.
up there. And then she started doing.
She did MTV. She had her own, did some singing, had a label.
Basically, the way I understand it, almost like an internet star and stuff. Who gained power and everything.
Never really did anything worth anything. But
I mean, no skills, but has to deal with attention. and
reality
trying to-
show,
yeah.
yeah.
So
I'm gonna tell you something about this guy. So this girl has lost her collective mind. I really believe this. So this isn't actually the
collective
first
mind?
her collective mind. I was trying to come up with a good word, but that was the best one I could come up with. Okay, so this isn't actually the first time that she's done something like this. So back when the Brussels thing happened, when the Al Qaeda,
The bombing?
I'm sorry, not Al Qaeda, ISIS attacked terrorists. Thank you.
Easier.
She actually put a post on her Facebook page. And she said, quote, so much death and destruction, chaos, discord, and strife happening currently. It is time. Quote, the purge continues. Woohoo. We can't take a lot of the foul spirits with us to heaven, you know. So don't worry. Everything happening now is supposed to happen. Earth is cleansing itself of the parasites.
Wow.
See,
This actually isn't the only thing she's done
yeah.
with Hitler as well. Evidently, back in 2013, she was on Celebrity Big Brother. She was ejected from the house after just one day due to many viewer complaints. Evidently, she made some controversial statements and praised German dictator Adolf Hitler on Facebook.
God. And then, mind you, for this one here in particular, right, she got a lot of flack for this, obviously. I mean, rightfully so. She got a lot of flack. And then she was unfazed by this. She even responded back to somebody who was giving her a bunch of crap on Facebook. She goes, no, absolutely not. But everything happens for a reason, and maybe these, quote, innocent humans were not so innocent in their past life. What goes around comes around, and the circle of life continues until the lessons have been learned.
she is
Just
she is
proof.
itching for.
Is it attention, or is it just straight?
No, when you're an internet star, and this is all she's ever known, she wants a headline. It doesn't matter what the headline is, just that it's a headline.
She's not curing cancer anytime soon. Let's put it that way. But I mean, so yes, I mean, this is the only skill that you have is getting attention, and she went total Godwin on this attention getting. I mean, because once you go there, what more can you do to be shocking? And this is a person, I remember she was on like rehab with Dr. Drew.
Yeah, she
she got kicked out of that because she was just, I mean, she was unsavable at that point. I mean, when Dr. Drew says, you know what,
done with
I have
you."
no use for you.
And Dr. Drew
you're
has
done.
patience. He has like patience out there.
Anyways. All right, guys. Thank you guys so much for the stories. That brings us to the end of the Go Spurs Go Memes podcast. Thank you guys for spending the night with me here in the studio recording. This podcast can be heard on iTunes, SoundCloud, YouTube, and now on Google Music. Woo!
Oh,
We're
that
up
is
on Google
something.
Music already.
Someone's been doing their job.
Yeah, so if you have an Android phone, you can easily get this podcast by going to your Google Music app. Let's see, where else?
wait.
Like us. Yep.
125 days till college football.
Woo!
I'm looking forward to it. Where's
Soon,
my money, Ray?
I don't know. I'm going to start giving you like $5 payments. Anyways, we will be in the studio next week for podcast number 35. Like us on Facebook. Follow us on Instagram and Twitter. And we will talk to you guys very, very soon. As always, go Spurs, go.
Is that a term?
I think that one, oh man, Carter just got his shit packed. I've never seen him get
He thought he was in prison.
He got packed on that one. Holy shit. Oh, look. Dude.
My name Kawhi, and I have big hands.
For slapping.
Oh, really? You were right.
Oh, you take it.
And that's what's wrong with the Spurs.
He was
wide open three.
You give it to
and,
Danny Green.
and he gives it the green.
Oh my
That's
god.
what's wrong with the Spurs.
Dude.